Hey, hello everybody, and welcome to Speaking of Schmoedown, a sports talk show devoted to the movie trivia Schmoedown. As always, I am Jay Wade. With me is Double D. How's it going, bud?
Going great, and I'm prepared for the snowstorm that's coming this weekend. So I got 2 bags of salt, and I got my shovel ready. So let's talk about Schmoedown first.
Yes. And Frenchie from Schmoes of the North, as always, is producer of this show here and does a great job and has been helping out on screen too. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing good, man. I've been obsessing over stereo a bit too much this week. I love it though. And by the way, Double D, if snowstorm's coming, you don't just need a shovel. You need lawn johns. Put 2-3 layers in the pants. You'll be good, man. You got to protect the family jewels.
I'm descended from Vikings. Okay, we sail with icy shores. You know, we love this. But this is my weather. You know, this is where I shine. Well, I get workouts. You see me steaming all over. So
talk about Vikings. This is a season war, and man, did the axes come out yesterday at the draft.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and I may not be Viking. I am Irish and German, so I have the hair, and so I'm there with you guys. I can keep warm. But yes, real quick before we get into that, I do want to say if you're listening on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. Help us out. We're a new show, and give us your feedback, comments. Hit that notification bell, share everything you can do. If you're listening on podcast platforms, do the same there as well. Also, you follow us on Twitter at the Jcast Network, stereo at the Jcast Network. Going to start doing some stuff there here pretty soon. And there's a Facebook page. It's not a group. It's a page. Speaking of Schmoedown, so nothing to sign up for or anything like that. Don't need approval.
And Christian keeps saying we're the most underrated Schmoedown show. This is us. That's us, man. If you keep hearing that stereo, follow Christian's advice and follow and subscribe to the channel, man.
Yes, if you've been wondering what show that is he's talking about, it is Speaking of Schmoedown. Mm-hmm. And speaking of Schmoedown, that draft last night, guys, woo. Holy crap, not even going to waste any time. He's been on the show here actually the last 2 weeks with us, and we're bringing him back in. Thomas Harper, who was drafted by the Den last night. How are you doing, sir? How you feeling today?
Very little sleep. No, feeling good, if not a little bleary-eyed. But yeah, the dust is settling, and now the work begins.
Oh yeah, and I don't even know where to start except from the beginning, I guess, which happened to be round 1, which is the beginning. Now I had tweeted this out, and I had told Frenchie and some others, dude, I had you pegged as a first pick. By Kaiser going to the dungeon.
Same
I was shocked. I really was. Well, no, I should say I was surprised when he didn't pick you. I was shocked when Kate snagged you. It was a great pick, but I didn't expect that out of her. What were your thoughts? Did you even see that coming? And what were your thoughts when you heard her say your name?
No, I didn't expect that. I didn't expect Kaiser to pick me as great as he's been to talk to. And I had the distinct sense that he was going in another direction. I put myself into his shoes as a manager who knows what he knows. And I thought Kanopik and Dimolanta were the two that I would go after. Dimolanta made the most sense to me because of the possible points on the board for him. But obviously he chose the former. And with her announcing that she's going to dive into the Star Wars division, I have to suspect that he knew that there was some kind of conversation. And so that, I guess, in his brain elevated her. I've got no problem with that at all. She's got a great track record. She's got a great reputation. She's a phenomenal player. So kudos to him for making a great pick. In fact, I had not talked to Kate or anybody from the Den previously before the draft. And so literally my wife is like going out to grab a drink and she's like, I don't have to, like, how long do I have? And I was like, you got like 15 minutes. Like Kaiser had made his pick. I was unsurprised by what he did. And then she's like halfway out of the room and then my name gets called and she comes running back and like slaps me saying, why didn't you tell me that this was going to happen? I was like, I don't know. So
now back channels, from what I heard, there was a part of the agreement to sign Dan is to have Mara. That was like part of the agreement. So this was decided a long time ago.
Yeah, well, and no matter what the case is, I think, I'm not a color commentator on all of this, but it makes sense as a pick. I mean, I look at that pick, and I don't know that I would have done too many things differently with that number one, and from his standpoint.
But I've been really pushing the fact that you should have been first, or it made sense for you to be first because he has such a well-established team. He could, no disrespect, to take a chance, right? Roll the dice is a bit more than try to reconstruct his or construct around his players because he already has the core, right? But it definitely made sense. But man, does it make sense with Den? They got a superstar because, again, like I said yesterday, your name keeps on echoing, and she can definitely work with you to be one of the most dominant stars out there.
Yeah, I feel very fortunate. The entire team that was put together, I paid very little attention to trying to break down and analyze how managers did, because at the end of the day, my mentality going into this was just give me a chance. I don't care if I'm picked dead last in the last round. As long as I get a spot on a roster and get a match to prove myself, then that's all I can ask for. So I wasn't really interested in how managers do this and that. I've got my own style, and I'm used to doing solitary prep and solitary play in Dragon Con. So getting any kind of management or any kind of teammates is an upgrade, no matter what the team looks like. But to land on a team like that, to watch the comments go from sort of sniping her and second guessing, third guessing her about the trade, to watching that sort of flip. And Christian made this comment last night on his stereo show. It happened on a dime. I mean, I was reading the comments, and it was just this seismic shift where people were like, well, maybe the trade did make some sense. And I look at it from like a fantasy football perspective. I'm like, well, the picks are all well and good, but you have to use them well. And I won't say anything about myself, because it's she had her own estimation of me. But in terms of how she used the other picks, I've got a good set of teammates.
Yes. Yeah, if I could jump in real quick. So my comments is on with Kaiser not picking on the first round. No disrespect, because I think that you are very strong. Based on how you talked to us that first week, I saw you as like you rang every single bell that I'm looking for. If I was a manager, you would be definitely a first pick in the Star Wars division.
Thanks.
But I think Kaiser learned his lesson from last season, picking almost all rookies in IG. I think he learned his lesson. So he was trying to get more established players, more seasoned players who he can count on and take a risk on maybe other areas. But obviously, I'm very happy that Kate took a chance with you because you definitely rang all the bells for me, and I would have picked you if I was managing a Schmoedown team. So that's just my quick thought.
Thanks. That means a lot. I appreciate it.
And I'm curious. You were the first one in the den, so you saw everything else unfold, right? Is there one person that Kate chose, and you're like, yes, I can work with that person, right?
I'm telling you right now, Lacey. I didn't pay a ton of attention to all the comments and stuff, but what she said in the very first interview that I watched with her, and I echoed this last night, but she said people for her entire life as a female Star Wars fan have underestimated her, have walked into conversations with her, have engaged in trivia against her, thinking and assuming that she just can't know as much for whatever sexist reason there is. And, she comes out and knocks their socks off. So not only does she have that motivation, because there's, I think, probably under an undercurrent of that sort of thing amongst some folks that are out there watching the draft play out. But she's motivated by that. It lights a fire. And man, she knows her stuff. If you listen to the Resistance broadcast, she's a holocron. I mean, there's nothing else to say about it. And I look forward. I tweeted out last night. I was like, one word, dyad. Just wait for us to get into a tournament together, and we're going to do good things. I'm confident in that.
So if you're the dyad with her, who's the emperor, man?
I mean, I guess Damon, he's been sitting on that throne for a long time. He's found a way to cling to power through his own skill. He's got Force Lightning. He's got some great dark side talents up his sleeve, but his time has come.
All right. So you can't clone himself anymore.
That's great.
I'm gonna be really honest with you. In some private chats over the last couple weeks, Thomas, I'm sure you are fully aware that I'm very impressed with you. I think you're going to do great things. I'm going to be watching your career very closely. But I got to be honest with you, man. I have been for years, and I'm still rooting for Laura Kelly to take that title from Damon, and I don't care who she has to go through. And I'm also, and that being said, but I'm a Den and a Swag supporter all the way, ride or die with Winston and Kate till the end. But on the Star Wars level, man, Star Wars is a whole other thing. You know what I mean, man? It's like it's one of my loves, as it is yours and so many others. I'm rooting for Laura Kelly, man. But maybe it's not her. But is there anyone specific, obviously, other than Damon, because you want that title? Is there anyone else specifically that you would really love to have a match with and see what you can do?
I'll say this about Damon. I don't want anyone watching or listening to me to get the wrong impression, because there's this sort of notorious track record, I think, where rookies come in, they call out the top dog in the pack, and then they stumble right out of the gates. And it's like, well, you talk this big talk. My statements about Damon are, he's a friend first and foremost. So, and we battle each other year in, year out. So, Damon and the belt are obviously an aspiration, right? But I have them sort of properly in focus. I sort of liken things to like the rifle range in the Army. You've got your 50-meter targets all the way out to your 300-meter targets. Alex and that belt are like a 300-meter target. You're going to get to it eventually, but right now I've got a 50-meter target in front of me, and that's whoever ends up being my first match. And so in terms of Damon, I see him every year anyhow. So if I don't get the chance, or I don't win and get the chance to face him this year, I see him every Labor Day anyhow. So I get that sort of fulfillment in battling against him. And quite frankly, as the last 6 years have proven, more often than not, it's the two of us out of the final three every single year. So, that much is on the table for me. So my motivation is different from maybe somebody that's targeting an Adam Collins or a Merle or somebody else in another division. As far as other players go, I want to challenge. Like I know that the Dragon Con players, and myself included, come with a weight on our shoulders. But what I love about the Schmoedown and the Star Wars division in particular is it's so razor thin. A guy like Scrimshaw, whose record is completely not reflective of his skill and talent and just like razor sharp acumen, is just indicative of like how good this division is. On the wrong, Scrimshaw's losses, it's just a bad stumble. It's not even that he doesn't know it. The loss on the Luke's hatred question. I know if he had maybe another 20 seconds, he would have known that answer. And that's the difference between winning and losing. And this is probably the only division where you can say that there's that sort of razor thin margin at the top. And so, I look forward to the chance, no matter who the competitor is, to play that sort of close game. And it's like a pair in baseball of like dueling ace pitchers. You got to be on your game. If you let one curveball just float up there in the strike zone, rest assured, a guy like Alex, a woman like Laura are going to belt it right out of the park.
Absolutely.
So, obviously, there were a lot of big upsets. There were a lot of big surprises in the draft last night. What was the most surprising to you in the draft for any division?
I was surprised that Riley fell to us. I mean, I don't know. I've got a lot to learn about singles and whatnot, but his name kept coming up. I remember, I kind of looked at sort of all the predictions about how the draft would go. That was just like fun to me to see the order, and it helped me learn players to look up and get a sense of where people thought folks fell, because lots of times records aren't really reflective, like Scrimshaw, of their talent level. Yeah. But that pick happened, and I saw the reaction, and I just kind of sat back. I told my wife, I was like, this is shaping up to be a really, really good team.
You're muted.
I'm mute. Yeah, why not? Sorry, the baby was crying in the background. You might actually get this reference, Thomas Harper. For me, Riley is the Mikko Koivu of Schmoedown. He really is the Mikko Koivu. And the Saku Koivu thing, pick one, right? But he definitely is that guy. Like, he's not going to be your head face to score all the points and be the guy that, like a McDavid, right? He ain't no McDavid or Draisaitl. but he is the guy you build around. He has so much experience everyone runs to, and he needs to be the face or something, because he was a back burner on Finstock Exchange. He's like, oh yeah, he's there, right? But now it's like, no, he's there. And what does the Den need? A captain like him, aka the Mikko Koivu Schmoedown.
I tell you, I'm bringing it right back to my fandom, the Hurricanes out of North Carolina. He's the Justin Williams of our team. You know, that Justin Williams, Mr. Game 7. That's all you need to know if you've never watched him play. This is a guy that's a veteran player that came back out of retirement to play for the Hurricanes. He played for the Capitals and won a cup with them. But just this presence in the locker room or in our study sessions that is a deep wealth of game knowledge and a sort of a leader, both formally and informally, that folks can rally around. I can't ask for somebody better on that team as a rookie coming in having never played a Schmoedown match.
Amen to that, man. You know, we're gonna definitely do a Frenchie talks about NHL. Me and you, man. Definitely.
Whereas you said you were surprised about the Yodi pick, I had talked about this last week, and also Frenchie and you're gonna have to remind me, Frenchie. Who was it you were doing stereo with the other night?
Oh, it's gonna be potentially one of his competitors, but he's more of an IG. Mr. The Juice and Jacob Whitnaben is definitely someone to look out for. But I love the Juice, his so-and-so manager, helping him to do the studies. And yeah, that's who I was with. Yeah. You guys were talking about it. They were talking about it, and I had said then that I thought Yodi. I had no doubt there. I could see that very well. But they were talking about possible teammates for Yodi and team names. And I have to say this here, too, because I think it's absolutely brilliant. There was a lot of steal this and steal that thrown around for the two. Steal bagel, stuff like that, which is cool. But I think that you've got to go with Yodi and Ben Goddard as a team called Boy of Steel. What do you think? Too soon. He might not get that reference. He might not get that reference though.
Oh, are you an SEN watcher?
Not, I would say in the Star Wars division, yes, but I've only dabbled outside of it. So
all right. Was that too soon, Frenchie?
We'll have
like over a year ago, bro.
We'll have Goddard on the show. You'll ask him. If you have
I don't know if Goddard would ever do this show.
if he does, and you have the cojones to ask him, we'll see, my friend.
Dude, I got the balls to ask him if he wants to come on right now. All he's got to do is come on it. And it's not a rude question. It's poking fun, obviously. But I'll ask him. I'll ask him to his face. I think it's funny.
The only thing I asked for the draft, and I didn't get it, I wanted Video Drew, and I wanted Brother Loomis to be the getter, and have the weirdest team on the planet, and they be named Not a Cult, because that would just fit.
Wear some white sneakers while they play.
Why not?
Well, speaking like Video Drew, for example, there were a lot of people who didn't go in this draft, like a lot of names that we've been familiar with for quite a few years that weren't drafted. I mean, and not in a prideful kind of a way, Thomas, but I mean, that's got to feel great. You went in the first round when so many established names and people who were admired and looked up to by so many fans, and they weren't even drafted at all, and you went in the first round, man.
Yeah, I will tell you, full honesty, there was almost a little feeling of knee-jerk guilt with it. I mean, it's not my choice where I go. It's it's not anything. And all of these managers, no matter what their level of prep were, whether it's I guess I'm trying to think the page count of Gucci's dossier by the time it seemed like it expanded every 5 minutes. It went from like 200 pages to like War and Peace.
The truth is, Broca clarified it. It's actually a 95, so almost a 1 for every.
I believe that. But I had this sort of pang, especially as it got to the end, and look no further than the third of the Resistance Broadcast Network folks that didn't get picked up. I mean, there were folks that were whether veterans with a fan base, quite frankly, to rookies that I thought were really good that I had been impressed by in terms of watching their interviews that didn't get picked up. And, I hope that there's some shuffling. I hope it sounded like last night when they were talking about the first class league, that this is going to be like an AHL, NHL system where there's like an active two-way system where you can get called up really at any time. In other words, you don't have to wait an entire season and play it out. And I like that. But I felt guilty. I'm like, I'm a rookie. Who am I compared to somebody that has folks that are actively looking forward to watching them in matches every year, regardless of their accuracy rate or win percentage.
Yeah. Is Star Wars the only division that you're interested in, like in the future? Is there any other division that you could see yourself possibly dipping your toes into?
I could see IG. I mean, that's really the only thing I think that's realistic for me. I will say Damon to me is one of the only players that seems to do both well. And I think the difference maker is going to be if Star Wars expands, because all of a sudden, I think you're going to see people start to take a second thought about whether to double dip in these two. Alex can continue doing it, no problem. And I would say Marie, Wilson, and Zach can do that as well if they wanted to. But my mentality is not stretching myself too thin. And I genuinely believe that the level of knowledge required to compete and to throw these perfect games that I think are necessary to win and be on top in this league, it's going to be difficult if you've also got to split time and learn. I think the list is like 296 IG movies. I mean, that's insane. Even if the detail level of those questions is maybe a little less than Star Wars, that's a huge undertaking.
Yeah. Frenchie, got anything else you want to in a closing fashion here for our rookie here? Fucking man, like I said, I thought it was going to be first round, first pick, but dude, to be honest, now that I'm thinking about it, you did even better than that, man.
I think I actually brainwashed you, Jay, into thinking that. You think it's from your own thoughts. I just I went over your body when you were sleeping and just like, he's first place.
You got incepted.
Yeah, pretty. Thank you. That's a much more smarter way to say it. You're a much more smart man than I am, Mr. Harper. All right, but yeah, not a question. Just the fact that I cannot wait to see you kick some Star Wars butt, man. I know Star Wars is a whole different division that you kind of have to lose a lot of REM sleep to sacrifice for that headspace to put all that knowledge of Star Wars, my man. So cannot wait to see all those years of passion put in the world of Schmoedown, and man, it's gonna be amazing. Thanks. All right. Well, Thomas Harper, everybody, drafted last night by the Den in the first round. Going to be a hell of a ride this year. Thank you very much for your time, not only today but the last 2 weeks as well. And of course, I'll be reaching out to you in the future too, throughout the season, and maybe even not to talk about what you're doing, but get your thoughts on some of the other stuff that's going on too.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on. You guys have been very gracious. At any time, just reach out.
Thank you very much.
Guys.
Thomas Harper, everybody. Watch out for him on the Den this year. It's going to be great. This whole season is just going to be absolutely great. And we're going to get into the draft a little bit later after we have Saul on, but we got a couple more things to get out of the way before Saul joins us. Right now, we're going to kick it to Double D for his sexy numbers. What do you got for us this week, D?
Well, first, let me say a happy belated birthday to someone that we all know and love, Frankie Janish. Yeah, you want to know where I got this picture? I got it from my yearbook in 2002. This is baby Frankie from 2002. And Frank, you didn't remember me? You go back from Coach Petrick in freshman algebra. Come on. That's why we're so good at math. Come on. So this week, I'm going to describe to you how I'm going to be forecasting all the points that each faction is going to be accumulating, or at least projecting them. So let's bring up the sheet. So as you can see, I'm going to break this down, so don't panic. Each faction has 5 things. One is a line that simulates all the TKOs. There's a bluish, light bluish bar that is the forecast for all the points, and the 3 numbers is the points that they accumulate. So the top number is the total points plus the knockout points. The highest number is the most points that they could win if they win all their matches. The last number is the number that they would accumulate if they get knocked out by their opponent. So just to let's focus on corruption, for example. This is all arbitrary numbers. So none of these numbers matter. These are just numbers that don't matter. I pulled these numbers out of my butt. These don't matter. So let's say corruption has 3 matches coming up. They're currently at 0. So if they lose all 3 matches by knockout, they will be down by -3 points. If they win all their matches without knockout, they could accumulate 12 points. And if there's any combination of winning or losing, they could win. They could get any thing in between 12 and -3. The 15 comes in if they win by knockout, and they win all their matches, and they win all 3 matches by knockout. So that explains the 15, and you can apply that that logic to all 7 factions. Now, if we look at the Den, I started the Den with 16 points. The reason why I did that is because that's high enough to where no one could reach them. So if you look at every other one, all of them are in range of each other to where they could maybe overtake them or tie with them or some kind of combination of all of them. The Den, they have accumulated so many points that nobody can reach them. So that's why, but they still have 1 match to go for. So they could lose a point. That'll get them to 15. They could win the points and get to 19. Or they could win by knockout, which will get them an additional point. Or it could be a title match, a title defense match, and they could get 20 points. So that's how to kind of, we can take that away now. So that's how you can actually look at my forecast in the upcoming season, and I will kind of tell you how they apply to rankings and stuff. And let's bring back Jay, see if he understood my saying. So what did you understand?
Let me ask you, sir. Do you think I understood?
I think so. I think they're simple enough, and I think you can because if you lose a match, you stay at 0. If you lose by knockout, you lose 3 points. I think it's easy enough to understand.
It's easy. I just don't understand the numbers. But at least you know I'm trying, because I forgot to take my glasses off. So I had my glasses on reading all that as we were going. That glare. Off topic, real quick. If anyone can explain to me how to get that glare off of my glasses, I've tried different angles. I'm sitting right in front of the. Tell me, message me, DM me, give me all the tips you got, because I would love to be able to read what I'm doing while I'm doing the show. But based on we'll get into like who won the draft or who did whatever in the draft later. But based on who was drafted, what are the top 2 teams that you're going to be keeping your eye on?
So many good picks. I mean, definitely. I'm very curious to see what the Den is doing, because I think Thomas nailed it earlier, where they have a really good faction. I gotta say that they just have so many good people. Thomas is very knowledgeable about Star Wars, so I think he's really good. Riley has had a lot of experience, but also he's had a bit of he hasn't been succeeding well, but he has a lot of knowledge, and that's good for all the other rookies that are coming in. But I gotta say, corruption's really good. I mean, it's hard to choose a second team, because you got corruption, who has a lot of great players. You got Swag, who's really looking good. You got the Stars, who have really good. The one faction that I'm not looking forward, I'm really curious about, is the Finstock Exchange, because a lot of them are just rookies. So we're going to see how well they do. Will we see a repeat of what Kaiser did last season? We don't know. So that's something that I'm going to probably look forward to exploring this season. I think Sam Levine is looking really good.
Okay. let me stick on this real quick because I was just about to ask you this. Because I've seen some stuff online, social media and whatnot, about Sam Levine's picks last year. Maybe he didn't have the best draft. And it definitely looks like, I don't want to say maybe he's taking it more seriously this year, but based on what you see in Sam Levine's draft specifically, we all know he's competitive, but I mean, do you have any thoughts on what he might be bringing this year?
I think he's looking for improvement because obviously he was suffering last season, and I think obviously with all the audition tapes that came in, I think he got a little bit more knowledgeable instead of just relying on what past seasons have brought. So I feel that he's looking to get better in teams. He's looking for obviously. I think Thomas said something about Murray Wilson, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's going to be interesting then. But yeah, we got obviously we got Paul Walter Hauser, a lot of new rookies, but of course we got Nikki Demolanta, who's obviously with Andrew Demolanta, so that's going to be interesting for Star Wars. I mean, yeah, this looks like a much improvement. I mean, he managed to get Stacey Howard, who I wasn't impressed previously, but last season I was impressed. So I definitely, she's going to be looking good. Obviously, Drew McWeeney's still on with him. So yeah, he's looking in really good shape to improve from last year's numbers.
Yeah, and speaking of Stacey Howard, I think she's really pretty. I have for years, man. I like her a lot. At first, I didn't understand the concept of characters, and I thought that she and Grace, I thought that was really them, or not her and Grace, but
Winston and Janine.
But no, but the point is, I thought that was not just her, but Roka too, and everybody. Okay. I thought that was the real personality. But Stacey Howard's, I was very turned off by at first. But then I was like, wait a minute. That's not her real personality. She's just, she's playing up a character. And then I was able to loosen up. But I
agree with you. She reminded me of an old coworker that just drove me nuts. So I kind of associated her with my coworker. But obviously, I kind of knew, like around season 5, like, oh, this is just they're not really doing. I kind of there was a unveil, like, oh, this isn't really happening. So, yeah. But I love her character work. I think she's really great. So, yeah, let's move on to Frenchie's Corner, right?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's bring in that Schmo of the North. This is going to be great. This is a segment we do here. We bring in Frenchie from Schmoes of the North with Frenchie's Corner. Why don't you go ahead and take it away here?
All right, but I'm going to just let the ticker talk for me, my friend. Who did the best draft? All right, so we didn't prepare it. We might actually agree on it. We don't know. Probably not, but we don't know.
I highly doubt it, man. It would be nice for once, wouldn't it?
it would be, but where's the fun in agreeing with you, Jay Wade? All right, so look, I'm going to start it with you, okay? Because I'm going to need some explaining to do on my end, and you're probably going to try to interrupt me every 2 seconds. So I'll let you do the quick one.
I don't care who you say, whoever you say is wrong. Whoever you say is wrong, because the Den ran away with the ultimate picks. They won the entire night. By far, they stole it. It doesn't matter who you say, dude. It's not them. It's the Den. Doesn't matter.
Oh, you're going to hate my choice, man. You're going to hate it. The Den was my first choice. It was the obvious choice, right? The choice you went, wow, Harper, Paramo, Riley. This is complete. It's probably the most complete team. Okay. And my answer is less about who did the best draft, but who did the best draft strategy. Okay. You might know where I'm going through. Now, Kaiser did it, and it backfired on him. That being said, like, this draft feels completely different from last draft. Dagnino's Moneyball technique could actually work out. Hear me out. I thought they were crazy. I was like, who the fuck did he draft the first round? After talking to Roca, I understood something. Now, he said, and I'm looking directly at you, Finstock, okay, because I know you're going to be watching me for this one. He said, Moneyball. He, I think, named the general manager of, I think it was the Red Sox also, right?
Billy Bean.
Yeah, exactly. So that being said, Kaiser had a great concept, but I think missed some steps to actually accomplish it. He is the Oakland A's, right? He had the concept.
What
but
team
he
did cheater on it? They won with I'm sorry. For the
Moneyball aspect. I'm going with the movie, okay?
Right,
I don't know.
I'm sorry. I'm going to let you finish. I apologize. I thought we were actually going to agree at first.
But that being said, then he went into that strategy went into the Red Sox and they won, right? Why? Because he took a concept and perfected it. And I think this is what Danilo was going to say, because I don't think he would choose a strategy if he's not confident in it, okay? Because he had a good year, but it fell apart. So he doesn't want back-to-back fall aparts. So if he uses such a risky move, is because he has a lot more confidence going to succeed than fail. And why? That 98 documentation dossier, like Mr. French apparently, dossier, it's going to work for him. He has established stats. I think he connected all the dots that he made the safest route for himself to completely turn the system and change the game with Moneyball and prove to everyone that you need good spirit, good teamwork, and good philosophy, and not just all-star players. So that's my pick for best draft strategy, personally. People are going to hate me. I don't give a shit. I am convinced. Thank you, Roca, for convincing me, because I'm fully on board now with what I thought after and what you said. It makes sense to me. Go ahead.
I don't know if I should like go off or just soak in my shock that after the shit show season last season that Finstock put out, that he could do anything possibly correct. No. And okay, dude, for a split second, I realized you weren't going to say Den, but then I was like, but I can still ride with this. Like, whoever he says, I'll disagree. Of course, it was the Den, but I'll still be able to at least see his point of view. Dude, you are lost. You are gone, dude. You're in weeds so high. You can stand there and jump and wave your arms. I don't know where you are. There's no way. Dude, Vince, I don't even know half, and this is not knock against it.
And that's the
I don't
genius.
even know half of them.
That's the genius of it. Okay, look.
Genius.
Look. Think about it, okay? I understand on paper, you're like, what the fuck is going on?
No, hold on. So I'm doing my draft. So instead of drafting Derek Jeter and Paul O'Neill, I'm gonna draft Blow Joe and Blow Jane, who no one's ever really heard of. Not saying they're bad, but we're gonna pick them over like a Jeter
I'm sorry, was Collins drafted?
Adam Collins?
Yeah, was he drafted?
He didn't need to be drafted.
Exactly.
He was scared.
Exactly, because you know why? He went through the radar and Shannon had to pick him up. What I'm saying on paper, I understand. It's like, makes no sense. But if you go deep into the philosophy of sport, okay, and you go deep in the philosophy of sport, there's more than one way of winning a championship. You can have really good, solid teams in like really high stars, or, proven competitors. But there are times to play it a certain way. If he had the all-star cast and it didn't work for him, he's trying to do something different that might actually play more to his strengths.
He kept Roca, and I love Roca, but he let Merle go. He didn't only let them go. He booted them to the curb, Merle and Bateman both, and kept. Roca's great, but Roca is not like by himself amazingly like the best. No. And yes, you can build around Roca, but you're not going to build something that is worth more value than a Bateman and a Merle.
Here's the thing. Jay, wait, here's the
my
thing.
God.
I understand why you kept Roca, because Roca is full 100% on board with the concept. This is the whole thing. He might
What
say Roca,
concept?
and if you didn't sign my words before because you weren't listening, my friend, and it won't go into your tick noggin.
I was trying to figure out why you didn't say the Den. That's all I've been
because
thinking about.
the Den is the safest choice. The Den is amazing, but
It's not a safe choice.
no, I mean it's the obvious choice. It's the obvious choice saying because they did the most well-rounded.
Yeah, that they won the draft. Yeah.
It's the obvious choice say that it's the most well-rounded, obvious pick that they had solid players. It's a huge risk, and Roca said it yesterday himself on our show that it might backfire, but because they're so strong on the way they interviewed and the way they did research, and I get it, right? Because I hire and fire people every freaking day, almost not every day, but most often a lot of people. And there's this feeling sometimes that most people are like, oh no, this person won't work because they don't have call center experience. They did, dishwashing all their lives. But you saw something, and next you know, they're bestsellers in a goddamn call center because you followed your gut. Finstock went and did a formula. He break it down to see if you condense everything, what do you get, right? And he chose those players out of that formula. So he's creating a system. He's the only one to have a system in place of that sorts. And that can either completely fail or completely win. And I have a strong feeling that if Roca, try to convince Roca to do that, okay? Roca is someone who wants to win. He's driven to win. And if Roca's on board, it's because he believes it can win with that. If not, he wouldn't be with Finstock. So because he's that strong on it and Finstock chose to do it and he does not want to lose who, it's not just like anyone that's taking that concept. If those two are behind those concepts, I am down.
I got a feeling too, man, and it's not the kind the Beatles had. I got a feeling deep inside. That's what I first thought of. But then I was like, no, I really do have a feeling. If that's what we're talking about, I got a feeling Kate Beckinsale is about to walk in through my office door right now and say, hey, Jay, I love you and I want to be with you. Feelings? No, hold on. Let's go back to the history of Finstock and his strategies and in his moves. Okay, let's go way back. The dude proposed to Tiffany Smith like he thought he could get somewhere there. So that's just his strategies, his moves.
He's an idiot, but he's a genius idiot.
I didn't want to talk about last season. Yeah, he did something, had this big strategy, and it should have paid off bigger than anything, but he blew it, totally dropped the ball, shit the bed last season. And then now he does this in the draft, and it's like all it is the polar opposite of what he did last season, but it's still going to come up with the same results.
Look, I don't expect anyone to understand, okay? And you know what? I don't care if anyone agrees with me or not, but you cannot, if you understand where he's going to, like I said, it might backfire on him. But if you understand why he's risking it and the way he's going in, and you can understand the potential of it, it's the hugest risk that any manager's ever made, but that risk might pay off. That's what I'm saying. That being said, I think people are I've got our points. I'm expecting Harloff and everyone to completely.
I forgot who I think won the draft. Once,
because Harloff said himself, like, usually agrees with me on Saturday. Was like, I rarely agree with Jay Wade. For once, I think he's going to agree with you. And yeah, it put that win in your column, my sir. That being said, I think it's enough about me, man. Let's wait a minute, Mr. Saul.
Yes. Let's get Double D back up on here, and our man Saul has just arrived in the house. And real quick before we get to you, Saul, I do want to clear. Dan, you were saying that it was Tiffany who proposed to Finstock.
Okay, so in season 1, Tom proposed to Tiffany, but in season 2, Tiffany proposed to Tom. So they both proposed to each other, but they both rejected.
Well, we'll cancel out when she proposed to him and just say
you know what? I will say this with regards to Frenchie. In business, when you come up with like a new venture, you have the most to benefit because you're the first one to come with it. So I hear you, Frenchie, but like you said, it's the most risk. That's why I'm not saying like Frenchie, like a Finstock is. Oh, he's insane. I'm
Okay,
like,
I can't be outnumbered, guys. I can't have two against one against me, and I'm the one. I can't do it. Saul, what is going on, everybody? Saul is dude. They're ganging up on me, man. It's like 2 against 1 here.
I disagreed with you. I just said it's risky.
What are you clowns talking about? I don't even know what the fuck is
All
going
right,
on. You bring me on here. You start
can I
arguing
say
like
it?
it's squawk
Yes,
box
yes.
and
We'll let
CNBC.
Frenchie.
Is this
Can I
like the
say-
GameStop
I just
stuff?
had a
I don't give
segment.
fuck.
No. Can I say, because I'm expecting the worst insult possible, and that's what I
Right.
want from you right now. I just claimed that Finstock's a fucking genius. I just claimed that his Moneyball technique. I know.
Bobby Finstock?
Yeah.
The guy who runs the exchange, Gucci.
Yeah.
That guy?
He's a fucking genius. The
Dude,
way
I
he
was
did
sitting here
his Moneyball.
screaming
Did
at
you?
him.
Oh wait, hang
literally
on,
screaming.
hang on, Frenchie. Okay, hang on. I understand why he thinks this. I know why you think that Tom's a genius. You obviously did not watch the draft.
No, that was the
I watched
question.
it.
Who won the draft? I said the Den, and he said
said
Finstock. And by the time it was over, I forgot who I said won. I was just trying to argue as to why Finstock didn't.
Are you talking about how on
I said
earth
Finstock.
did you draw this? How did you draw this conclusion?
In a pure analytical, I'm a manager call center, right? I know what it is to interview, hire, and fire.
Well, I'm a Schmoedown pro, so don't brag.
So, hey, there you go. But for me, I understand his risk. I don't think that Finstock and Roca would be on board with strategy if there's more of a risk to lose than to win.
You think
They have
Roca
a form.
understands strategy?
I do. That's my. He's very emotional, but he's a fucking smart man. He lets his emotions take over, but he's a fucking smart man, and he hates losing. He hates losing.
Because he's so used to it. He knows what it's like.
Hell yeah, so. But for me, the Moneyball strategy was invented by Kaiser in the Schmoedown. I think it's like the Athletics, and the Red Sox. The Athletics created the Moneyball strategy, but didn't win, and the Red Sox took it, run with it, and perfected it. And that's what I'm predicting Kaiser might do.
Kaiser?
Not Kaiser. Finstock.
You don't even know what manager you're listen.
I'm French. Hey.
You said it.
I said it.
And I don't even know that I necessarily go for the analytics shit, man. I mean, yeah, it works on paper, but paper doesn't necessarily play out those numbers. The paper doesn't account for how you feel, your emotions, your all that stuff. There are lots of outside influence.
Jay is correct, and this is coming from someone who has been for most of his life what's up, Haskell? This is coming from someone, me, who's been an Eli Manning fan most of my life. You have to factor in intangibles into any competition, things that you cannot observe with metrics. Eli Manning has 2 Super Bowl rings. That's as many as Peyton Manning. Despite the fact that he doesn't have the pretty stats like him, you're not taking into account the intangibles. And if you're just looking at this, first of all, you can't even say they're moneyballing. Moneyball is
they are.
You went and got veteran players who statistically put out the same output in certain metrics every season. These are rookies.
But
by the way,
we talked about Schmoedown. This is Schmoedown Moneyballing.
Right.
Look.
They have no stats. How could you say you're moneyballing if you have no stats?
It is a shorter version of Moneyballing, but
shorter version. It's a magical version of fucking Moneyball.
But okay, so hold
on, Saul. Let him try to dig himself out of this. I got to hear this.
I don't have to dig. I don't care if no one agrees with me. I believe it, and that's what's important to me.
I'm having a blast.
But this being said, for me, it works because he crunched down to our formula. He went to interviews, to tests, results of those tests. That little dossier he's talking about, the 400-page, Roca cleared it out. It's 98 pages, one for every competitor. They went through the same.
I know, I'm in it.
They went the same type of formula, and they got the results that for them, by piecing it together, really completed their full chart. So yeah, they don't have as much stats, right? But it's still towards that type of equation for me. That's still moneyballing in a Schmoedown fashion with all the stats they can muster up. Is it going to backfire on them? Yeah, you never know. But if they
sometimes you know, Frenchie. Sometimes there's enough information which you know. You can draw a conclusion based on facts. Sometimes
no,
you
you
know.
see, so you see, for me, I didn't know until it like everything clicked in, and I realized what he was trying to do. And when I realized his strategy, for me, that just made the most sense.
Oh.
Hey,
Frenchie.
that's just me. Like I said, I'm French. Forgive me.
Frenchie, listen to me again. You're discounting the intangibles. These are inexperienced rookies. Look, you got Craig Gaynor. Craig Gaynor is a world-class Schmoedown competitor. I'm not doubting Craig Gaynor. I think Craig Gaynor knows a lot of things about a lot of things. And I tell you what, I wouldn't doubt Craig. I hear Craig's name. I'm going to listen to what you got to say. But if you're discounting the intangible components, which, by the way, I learned more about the movie trivia Schmoedown in my first 2 questions of my first match than I did in 7 months of preparation. 7 months of watching movies, taking copious notes. I learned more in 2 questions about the entire process than I did in 7 months. There is a huge part of this game that no one talks about because it's hard to quantify and qualify. And if you're going to bring a team full of rookies in, you gave Craig a lot of homework to do because he's got to get these kids up because it's going to be Craig. Craig is going to be the one coaching these kids up. And I say kids in the way that I mean they're rookies. I'm not going to or whatever. I don't give a I don't know why I'm explaining myself.
Yeah, Frenchie Corner 2.0.
But Frenchie, when I had to meet one of these kids at the table and they show me, hey, I excel at this statistic, and I'm very good. And I go, I'm going to be barking at you on Twitter for a couple of weeks.
You're that guy who pushed around the nerds and put them in trash cans, right?
I'm going to have shows like this where I come on and I embarrass people. And then at the table, I'm going to be a foot away from you barking in your head. Good luck pulling your Oscar trivia when I'm doing that. There's an intangible component to this game. There's a performance element that's not just It's not just performance for performance's sake. Being a performer can also make you a better player. And no one talks about this. But if you can have the confidence of being a stronger, like I'm not going to go down that road, but if you cannot, you're not going to moneyball your way to a title. This plan, I think, has some flaws. And I'm not, by the way, because someone might bring it up, I'm not looking at the chat. Craig and I were on Let's Get Ready to talk Schmoedown last night, and I was in prolonged negotiations to join the Finstock Exchange this offseason. So this has nothing to do with that. My home was always with the Den. So
nice.
All right, we'll leave that behind. Like, I completely understand and respect. Like, Jay Wade, I'll say it for once. I sort of agree with what you're saying, and I know it's complete nonsensical what I'm saying, but I can't ignore it. You know, there's this voice behind my back, and no, I do take my medication, so don't say anything. There's this voice behind my mind just keeps saying, it might work, and I can't shake it off. So because of that, that's why I'm doing my position, because I don't want to take that position. I don't want to say what I'm saying right now, but I can't ignore that feeling, so I have to say it, man. So that being said, I think we have some questions for you, Mr. Saul. What's the first question, Jay Wade?
Yeah, I have an actual question for you, Saul, like a legit question.
Oh, wow, as opposed to all the other ones who ask me.
Well, you know me. Normally, I ask kind of like bullshit questions that are half serious and half just joking around. But
were you nice to my?
You and I have talked, and you've talked about Star Wars for a long time. Have you? I don't know if it would be this season, but are you going to jump into Star Wars division either this season or next season for sure? Is that something that you've definitely locked in? Because I know you're interested in it.
No. Our team, the Den, is one of maybe the strongest Star Wars team in the movie trivia Schmoedown. My services are not required. I would love to compete in Star. I get to hang out with Thomas Harper and Lacey now. We get to sit in the same homeroom every morning, and I am so excited to be able to talk about Star Wars. And Goddard's a big Star Wars head, I know too. He's got an interest in it. So the fact that I get to be around this, I feel like I get this. I don't feel the need to have to come out and do that this year. Next year, upon the expansion with Clone Wars being added and Mandalorian and Rebels, I might get the itch because that's exciting to me because I'm a big Clone Wars head. But I will be a multi-division player this year. Star Wars will not be the the additional division. I think Lacey and Thomas Harper got it. Were you nice to Thomas, my new friend, by the way?
He's been on your list.
You were nice to him.
I was fucking hungover.
And we had him 2 times at a show on Schmoes of the North, and I met him 2 times. So I'm starting to really like the guy, man.
I heard about that Schmoes of the North show. I hear that's a dangerous place to go. You don't want to go north. You might lose title shots, I heard.
Real quick, I got to follow up here, Saul. What other division are you going to play in? Can you tell us right now?
Yeah, it's going to be the MGM musical division. It's going to be great. It's only MGM musicals from the 30s to the 60s. I am an expert in that, obviously, and I imagine that I will have that title belt immediately. No, well, listen, this we can unpack something else. By the way, stop looking at your watch. I'm gonna go over my time. But part of the operation to get me back home to the den was I had to not only not tell anybody about my interest in playing in teams this year, but also I felt bad and I apologized to him last night, but I literally lied to Craig's face or the screen. So I will hopefully. Well, again, the den is fucking stacked right now. This is a serious team, and I mean we have 2 A teams. We have 2 teams that could tomorrow take the gold. We have 2 A teams. Look, nothing's official yet. I don't know that Duraldi and Mark Riley will be a team, but if they were, they're in title contention the moment that gets officiated. Preston and Ben, that's going to be a title contention team right there. Absolutely.
So are you saying that is definitely a team?
I'm almost, from what I understand from the rumors, I don't know. I'm not confirming shit.
So what do you do with Silvestrini though? Like, so Silvestrini is going to be separate from Ben.
Rachel Silvestrini's home, and Rachel Silvestrini's back on the den where she belongs, and she's going to be doing the best work of her career this year. The plans that are in place for Rachel are super special. I'm almost more excited for you guys to see what Rachel does this year than I am for for myself. There's big plans for Rachel, her team's future. I think you're going to see her in teams this year. Definitely. I don't know where or who. Literally, guys. The team, the cement is not even dry yet on the team. You can still write your initials in it. So, Rachel, I think has a future. Definitely has a future in this league. And I think it's also that her path runs through teams as well. I don't know who or when or where with that. But, again, the den is super stacked. I've always had an interest. I've told you, Jay, before. I was initially coming in as a singles player. And then when I realized how I moneyballed the Schmoedown was to stop looking at the Schmoedown like it's a match. Stop looking at it that it's even a season. I have a 3 to 4 year plan for my Schmoedown career. I am playing the long game. And if I didn't have faith that I'm going to be here next year and the year after that, contributing to the Schmoedown in a very positive way and giving everything I got as a performer and a player, then it would have driven me nuts this year. I had a red shirt season. I had 1 match. And even though I knew I never lost faith in myself, that I knew I was going to have opportunities again, it was fucking hard. It's fucking hard knowing, that this thing that I'm so invested in, you only get 1 crack at. But it's also inspired me. Again, it's like I'm working with the wheel of woe from Conan the Barbarian, man. I am just gonna keep walking no matter what happens. You don't stop, you're unstoppable. I mean, it's literally that simple. And I don't know what I was saying. Yeah, so I was looking at teams. But do you know what? Again, the den is okay at teams. So I can fully invest myself back into Inner Geekdom. There's a lot of expectations of me, and I love those expectations. I want those expectations on me for the Inner Geekdom. And right now, that's where I'm focused on. But I can see later in the season, I think there's going to be more opportunities. I think the team's division it's going to flourish later this season. I'm just guessing. I don't have any insider information or anything. Now, I think when that happens, I'll be there.
Now,
I'm sorry, Frenchie. Real quick, this has to do with teams, and I just want a reaction out of you, Saul. Like your thought on this. I'm kind of fond on a Yodi and a Ben Goddard team, going by the name Boy of Steel. What do you think of that?
I don't appreciate you calling my faction mate and friend Ben Goddard a boy.
I said it was too soon, man.
Frenchie said it's too soon, but I'm like, dude, it's been over a year. Come on.
Too soon means never. Too soon means never. Just polite, Jay Wade.
Exactly, Jay. Do you know what? It's been a year. It's time to retire the bit. Leave him alone. He's a more than respectable
that bit
Schmoedown
just came
player.
about because Yodi and Ben are on the same team, so that just that's a fresh.
Jay, it wasn't high concept. We got the fucking joke.
Anyway,
okay? Knock it off with this Goddard bit. Leave
all
Goddard
right.
alone.
Let these guys got some questions.
Show the man some respect, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, you see, I might be a moron for doing for going for Finstock, but at least I respect your boy Goddard enough to defend him, man.
Thank you.
That
Your
being
contributions
said,
will be noted.
thanks, sir. And don't take this the wrong way. I support Den 100%. I can't wait these guys see what you see. It's just something clicked in my brain, right? That being said, there's a lot of people, or some people, I should say, that are calling you the Conor McGregor of Schmoedown. What do you say to that?
I have much longer hair.
That is a fact. I mean, like, you cannot dispute that, dude. That is a fact.
Not for long, though. I don't think. I don't know. I'm thinking.
Oh no! Don't cut it off, bro. You're Samson, man. You're Samson.
This man with short hair, dude. You could, no bullshit. You could be a model, Saul. I'm serious. Without the beard,
I'm gonna cut my hair and send it back to you.
A model. I'm not lying. Like, I'm not going to go there, but I know that this man could be a model because of some feelings it brought up in me when I saw a picture of him with short hair and no beard.
Jason alternate. Yeah, that's why are we talking about this? First, we're talking up the photos.
That's the answer to my question. That's why said long hair.
Listen, the chairman Christian Harloff has been very. Are you fucking kidding me, Frenchie? Who is it? Answer it. Who is it?
It's my assistant manager. I'm the director of cost center. If they usually call it, everything's going haywire, but I'm paying him enough to take care of it, so I'm not answering the phone.
I wanted to talk to him. I wanted to say
he has no knowledge of Schmoedown. He'd be like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
I am a brand ambassador. I could reach out and convince him and all his friends to start watching. We missed an opportunity there, French. And look, my dad's from Winnipeg, so I'm half Canuck. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
okay. Well, in that case, you're not from Quebec, so you don't count.
See, do you know what? He's told me my whole life that you guys are like that. My whole life I've had to hear about it. I'm well versed in the dynamic of the Eastern and Western Canadians.
Dans ce cas-là, tu devrais comprendre ce que je suis en train de dire, mon esti tabarnak de calice.
Boo! Boo! Actually, do you know what's funny? Is Quebec, it's like, people like, I'm like 4 or 5 hours from Quebec. It's like right fucking there. I'm actually, in all seriousness, I'm dying to go there. But it's like literally, it's one road, Route 84. I could take it. I could literally just shoot right up. But but the Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
Listen, the Christian Harloff has expressed a lot of faith in me, and he's and that to me, whenever he does that, I'm always really flattered by that. In all seriousness, the fact that he sees a place for me in the Schmoedown of that level, that gets me up a little earlier in the morning. That gets another note card on the wall. That gets me highly motivated. I'm super flattered by that. I'm a big fan of Conor. I think Christian, what he sees is a correlation between the brashness and the confidence, but also Conor McGregor isn't great because he has nice suits. Conor McGregor isn't great because he literally, his press conferences are must-see television. Conor McGregor is great because of all those things, and then when he gets in the cage, until recently, he gets in the cage and he lays motherfuckers out. And that's the part that I am hyper-focused on right now, even to the expense of, look, I could do these shows all the time. Doing a show like this, cutting promos on Twitter, talking shit, something that comes hyper easy to me. But I've actually held back in an attempt to maybe show that I'm here for the right reasons. I'm not here just to look. If I wanted to be a character, if I just wanted to be a humorous schmoedown, that path was available to me. That was an option where I could come in and be Sully Dog Got the Bacon or whatever the fuck. And just been a Josh McCouga type of character, which my favorite Schmoedown player of all time is Josh McCouga. So he's my favorite of all time. He's my favorite is Josh McCouga. My second and third are also Josh McCouga. So to come out and be just to make people laugh and have fun, that was an option to me. But I think the most interesting way to navigate my Schmoedown career is to also make people laugh, give you the best performance and character work in the Schmoedown, which I think I'm capable of, but also win a lot of fucking matches and terrorize people at that table.
All right. So speaking of that, so speaking of that, you want to further your career. Do you want to face Brendan Hanna and get your revenge early, the very first match, or do you want to build up to that, have several matches, defeat him, and then have your revenge against Brendan Hanna later?
I don't know who Double D is, but the fact that he called Brandon Hanna Brendan Hanna makes me very happy, and I'm starting to like this guy right away.
Brandon Hanna just called in our emergency line again. Dude, I'm not listening to it. I just hung up on him. I'm not listening to it this
He
time.
calls every week, and we keep ignoring him, man.
Brandon
I know.
Hanna knows.
You don't want to call.
Brandon Hanna knows where his future, the road that he's on, and that as soon as he accepted that match with me, that our fates were intertwined. He made a mistake, and he got away with it. He got away with it for a little while. But Brandon and I will play again. In fact, I heard a rumor that an incoming match with me actually hurt his draft stock, I heard. But then he went, I think he went 5th or 6th, so maybe the rumor is not so true. Brandon knows I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere until I fucking vanquish him. So you want to give it to me tomorrow, I'll be ready. If you want to give it to me at Spectacular, I'll be ready. Saul Hanna 2 will happen, and it's not going to have the same result. Everyone knows that, especially Brandon. Maybe his manager didn't get that memo, but Brandon knows it. Brandon doesn't want this, but he's going to have to get it. And there is no goal that I have in the Schmoedown that doesn't also include, and then I smash Brandon Hanna. Saul Hanna 2 will happen this season. I promise, swear, and vow to you. When it happens, I don't got to worry about that. Much more interested people know about such things, and I trust that they will make this occur, and that all the fans will rejoice in me putting an end to that, whatever that is.
Now
that is baby heel Hannah, is what that is. But real quick, since we've got some live viewers, I do want to go ahead and read this. Last night, I had reached out to Ace Cabrera to see if he could come on for a few minutes and talk about the draft. He was not able to. We'll schedule him for later on. But I did ask him a question and asked him if he would mind giving me a quote that I would read on air here. What I asked him was, were you aware that you were going so late in the draft, and does that upset you? I wanted to get his feelings on that. And his quote back to me, his tweet to me is, I had no idea, and not upset. Still kind of surprising to continue to be underestimated, even though I have the best record in Star Wars division and only losing once to the greatest champ of all time. Very well put. Thank you, Ace, for responding with that for me to read out here and let people know, because I know Christian had brought it up last night on stereo that Ace might be feeling a little raw about that. So thank you, Ace. And that was his reply and how he feels about that last night.
Well, my quick question to you, Saul, is were you worried someone's going to pick you instead of Kate because you're starting to go slightly down every round? Were you worried someone was going to try to steal you away from Kate?
Yeah, it was the most stressful month of my fucking life. I'll break it down for you. There was pretty much a great escape operation, but instead of escaping, it was the great return. I never at any point in the off season wanted to be anywhere else but on the den. It's a new look den, and it's not just because there's new people here. The core is still here, but we're going to do things differently this season. It's going to be a new operational standard. And I posted a GIF, the Daniel Craig GIF from Quantum of Solace on my Twitter last night after I was picked. I never left. I never lost contact with Kate. Kate and I were in contact frequently from the end of the season until last night. We were messaging each other up until the pick. I was busting her balls for taking me at 9 instead of 8 even at the moment it happened, because it was both of us were highly stressed out. I had a lot of interest this season. I was very flattered that I had a lot of interest as both potentially being signed, and also two managers had point blank told me where and when they were going to take me. I had another manager who was, I think, being polite, was reaching out and feeling me out, but their plans went elsewhere. I don't think it was going to be. I don't think I fit into their plans, but they were nice enough to continue to kind of keep me, just to talk to me. But I know some dipshits have said that I was a bit of a reach. I promise you that I was not a reach. I promise you I would have been gone probably the next pick after 9. Certainly at 12, I would have been gone. I know Gucci and Craig are talking about this all rookies bullshit. I was on their board. I was legitimately afraid that I was going to go at 5 to the Finstock Exchange. I have a great respect for Tom. I'm a big fan of Tom and Craig. And the idea of being able to roll into the locker room with John Roca did appeal to me. But I never had any desire to seriously leave the den. And I never really did. I worked very hard to. I had, as I'm not trying to embarrass you, Jay, but I turned down an appearance on the show not long ago. I turned down all appearances after I was just goofing around. I did something called Saul Week in December, but that was it. I shut down any sort of appearances. I kept my head low, and I tried not to raise my draft value because I didn't want anyone else being that interested in me.
Smart.
I had a conversation with Craig Gaynor, who point blank said, if you would have told me the truth about you wanting to be in teams, we probably would have offered you a contract in free agency. And then he also told me that if I knew how interested in you were about going back to the den, we definitely would have taken you at 5 and held you for ransom. And if Kate didn't pay, you just would have been our IG guy. So there was a very real threat that I wasn't going to return. Kate and I played it, I think, masterfully. We got exactly what we want, the way we wanted it. And I'm this is the only place I want to be. And it's going to be, I'm floored by the faith that Kate has had in me, my fellow faction mates have had in me, who are also co-signing all these moves. Preston and Goddard were aware of everything that was going on with me, and they were there encouraging this to happen. So I owe a debt to them as well. I owe an enormous debt to Kate. And this is the year that I begin to pay that debt off in a big, big way.
But before you go, I can't let this go. I have to answer to it. By the way, Schmoedown North is only dangerous to lose your belt contention when you put your foot in your mouth on a very simple question and you self-sabotage yourself.
Frenchie, I'm very capable of such things. Don't you know who I am? Don't you know who you're talking to?
Yeah, yes, I do. But at the same time, I have to say it.
Don DePonte's a smart dude. Like, if you guys almost ruined his career, you'll really run me through. I mean, you'll really do some damage. I'm a mouthy bro. I just asked him,
how do you feel the IG slice in singles? And he went off. Again, it was interesting to hear about. My head's like, what is he doing? I just said a question.
Don't lie to me. You sabotaged that, man. You almost ruined our champion. How dare you?
No, he knows. I love the kid. I root for him every time he's on. I root for him because I love his heel tendencies. I always be a supporter of this guy. And yeah, it was for the fun of it. Everyone
he learned it from you guys. He learned how to be heel from you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we are more evil than we look. The Canadians.
Too nice. Right. I don't trust them. Saul, thank you very much for your time, man. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we close out here?
Shameless plug, because I know you're going to do some smart assery before I can plug myself. I am Schmoedown Saul on Stereo. I'm going to be doing a lot of work with Stereo in the next couple of months. It's going to be a lot of fun. Saul Show will be on there. I'm going to be having a lot of fun. You're on the Saul Show right now, by the way. Welcome. And,
well, hit me up if you ever want somebody to be on your Stereo Saul Show. Oh, and yes, I just totally invited myself onto your show.
Oh yeah, no, I heard you. Yeah, that's not going to happen. And when
what?
Not at all. Never happening. In fact, if I could somehow get a dummy account that doesn't do anything and it's just me on there, that would be ideal. I'm trying to get that going, so it's just solo Saul. So Saul Show is coming to Stereo very soon. Stick with me. Subscribe at Schmoedown Saul on Stereo and on Twitter. I got to do more shit on Twitter. Look. I am new to social media. People don't believe me. I've never had a social media account until the spring, and it was forced upon me. I literally had to have a Twitter account. So last night, there was an outpour on social media, very supportive stuff. I am floored by it. I'm still figuring it out. I'm still trying to figure out what do you guys want me to communicate to you guys. I'm still trying to work on that. So if you like what I do, if you like what I'm putting out there, come follow me on Twitter and help me put something together on there that you can have a good time looking at. Or if you hate me, come on there and we'll fucking mix it up. I don't give a fuck.
Sweet. Well, I'll leave you some comments and shit. Pick on you a little bit. I'm still every time we talk, I push the line a little bit further with you, as where the first time you and I met, there was no line with you coming at me. You just but you're an intimidating guy.
Sure.
That, and I'm in my position and you're in my position, and you're in your position. So, I'm more intimidated of you than you are of me, dude. You're running the show, to be honest. So,
and that's the way I like it, and that's the way we're going to continue this relationship.
And you don't scare me, Skull, but you definitely gain my respect.
Mm-hmm. But give me time. I'll come up there. I'll fucking sort you out.
Look, man. Not a lot of things scare me, to be honest. I scare myself. That's about it.
Do you know what scares me? Mayonnaise on all food. So you guys need to chill out. That scares the shit out of me.
Oh, hey, fries and mayonnaise, the best shit ever. So come on.
I actually, you know what? Last time I was in Germany, I indulged in that, and I hate mayonnaise, but it fucking worked. Actually, I was shocked.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you very much, Saul.
I respect you as well.
Thank you, Double D. I don't know who Jay didn't fucking introduce you, so I don't know who you are. But I'm
Double D. I'm the numbers guy here. I'm smarter than both these two up here.
Okay, I hope you do better than Freddie Badmath over at the Runaround, because that guy.
Well, actually, Dan, I'll say this about Dan here. I had asked Freddie originally if he wanted to do a segment, like a numbers type stats segment on here. Wasn't able to. Knew it was a long shot. He recommended Dan to me. So
you mean Frankie?
Yeah.
You mean the birthday boy, the baby face Frankie?
Yeah. Hey, check this out.
Yeah. That's Frankie fucking numbers.
Yep.
From 2002.
Oh.
Double D went to school with him.
Oof.
We actually had the same algebra teacher in freshman year.
Oh, really?
So, hey, maybe that's a statement to how good your algebra teacher is.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe not.
No comment.
All right. Hey, Saul, thank you very much again. Man, you're always welcome back, and I'll ask you back again, and you'll turn me down, and then I'll ask in about the fifth time you'll say yes because you feel bad for me. So thank you very much.
You never forget that how guilty I get. So that's a strong move for you.
Okay, so I just have to invite you 20 times in my case, and eventually you'll be on our show.
No, you're different.
Hey, there was a time he was turning everybody down and telling them I only do Jay Wade's show. So that made me feel real good for about a year.
So you say that now, we'll find a way. I'll buy you a couple cases of beer. We'll find a way to get you on the show.
Yeah, Paul Denuzio still hasn't. So how do you think your chances are?
You underestimate me, Paul. Challenge accepted.
All right. This is gonna be good, guys.
Hang up on me already, for Christ's sakes.
Good luck this season in the Schmoedown, Saul. Definitely going to be looking forward to what you're doing, and not only with your gameplay, but your character work as well. Like Frenchie said, Conor McGregor of the Schmoedown, and I love it. So thank you for your time. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
All right, have a good one. That was Saul, everybody. The Saul, and that was great, guys. That was great. I like Saul a lot. And we're going to go ahead and wrap up here. We're going to skip over the hard questions for this week and get into some draft talk here. Real quick, before I get into the draft, there were a couple of announcements that Christian had made off the top of the show last night. The first match is a pay-per-view event, starts February 19th, and that is Molly Damon versus Laura Kelly is the opening match, with the headliner match of Chandru versus Mara Kanopik. So that's going to be... even if that was like a mid or end of the year pay-per-view event, that would be awesome. But that's kicking off this war. So with that, I do want to get your thoughts real quick before we go through the draft and what happened here. Touching back to Frenchie's corner, Dan, who do you think came out on top in this draft?
I mean, I gotta say the Den, because they assembled a nice. I mean, yeah, it is safe to say that because Kate got great players, and we just don't know how Finstock's Moneyball team is going to pan out. So, yes, it's risky, and it could bomb, but that's why I say that the Den is actually the winner, because it just seems so exciting.
High risk, high reward. High risk, high reward, all I'm saying.
High risk most of the time.
But it's Finstock. You never know.
Yeah, you know what? I guarantee he was the one who was calling me last week, telling me about his ideas, and I was like, I'm not interested.
Finstock is the Captain Jack from Pirates of the Caribbean of Schmoedown. He does the weirdest things. The things he should do, he should fall flat on his face, but he still finds a way to go up the basket, double pirouette, over the boat, fly through a cannonball, and land on the island. That's Finstock. What he does shouldn't work, but he still finds a way to make it work most of the time.
Then why didn't he get to number one?
Because ego crashed him, but he has a track record proof before. I'm saying he's the Jack of Schmoedown.
This is great. All right, I'm gonna run through the list real quick first, and then we'll come back and talk about some of the highlights from it that we took away. In no particular order as far as factions, and I'm not going to go in draft order. I'm going to go faction by faction so that we can get an idea of what the factions look like. So starting with corruption, managed by Shannon Barney. Her locked-ins were Adam Collins, Chance Ellison, Mike Kalinowski, Marisol McKee. And after the trade, obviously, and in the draft, she picked up Mark Hewitt.
Mark Everett.
Okay, yep, Mark Hoyt. Scrimshaw, Sean Sullivan, Jacob London, Clee Wiggins, James White, Claudia Dolph, and Dewberry, which was her final pick. Then as swag managed by Winston Marshall, they locked in Paulo Yama, Lon Harris, Sean Drew, and they drafted Eric Zipper, Laura Kelly, Ace Cabrera, Vinny Mancuso, Haley Fouch, Jen Kemp, Jonathan Harris, he's making his return, Bradley Tingle, and Frank Moran. The Stars, led by Roxy Stryer, had locked in Jeff Snyder, Mark Andraco, Alex Damon, drafted Baby Heel, Brandon Hanna, Zach Burkett, Janine the Machine, Jacob Bancroft, Felix Morit, Jack Kennedy, Jeff Lowe, who are both from Barstool Sports. That should be really fun and interesting, especially teaming them up with Roxy. Christina, was it Vasallo? Sorry, I'm not the best with names. Brittany Young. Finstock Exchange with Tom Dagnino at the helm had John Roca, Barbarian JTE locked in. They drafted Griffin Newman, Evan Bushkar. I see you dancing up there. Mark, is it Haas or Haas?
Haas.
I heard it both.
Yeah, I heard it both, and I heard questionably whether or not Finstock knew the name. Ty Lieberman, and that question was brought up by Christian Harloff. Ty Lieberman, Brother Loomis, Rick Mattis, Jeffrey Kahn, Kim Taylor Foster, and Taylor Robinson. Quirky Marks with Coy Jandreau at the helm. They had locked in William Bibiani, Brendan Meyer, Kevin Smith, drafted Andrew Demolanta, Eric Whiteley, Jesse Swift, Perry Nemiroff, Beth May, Josh Horowitz, Greg Alba, Sabrina Ramirez, and John Humphrey. The Den, obviously Kate Mulligan coming away with the big night. Whether or not she owned it is up for debate, I guess. She had Paul Preston and Ben Goddard locked in. She picked up Thomas Harper in the first round, Alonzo Duralde, Saul, who we just had on the show, Mark Riley, Peggy Gubbins, I apologize, Jader Paramo, Lacey Gilleran, David Del Rio, Jessica Schmoff, Rachel Silvestrini, and the usual suspects here we had with Sam Levine taking control, locking in Ethan Irwin, Drew McQueenie, Liz Shannon Miller. He drafted was Amaru Moses, Marie Wilson, Stacy Howard, Jacob Wittenbin, Paul Walter Hauser. That one I'm looking forward to. He seems fun. Frankie Alvarez, Paige Frabetti, Nikki Demolanta, the better half of the other Demolanta. I should have maybe not said better half. They're both great. Doug Benson, that's what I'm looking forward to seeing in some sort of exhibition stoner match. And finally, the Dungeon, John Kaiser had locked in Dan Murrell, Ben Bateman, Robert Parker. He picked up Mara Knopic, Molly Damon, Video Drew, Whitney Seibold, Jericho in round 5, Adam Witt, John is it Hoey or Hoy?
I really don't know.
Hoy, I think.
I really don't know on that guy.
We'll go with that. I apologize again for the names. I will get these as we go on and hear them pronounced more. John Flickinger and Chris Van Villay. That is everyone that was drafted and the full faction rosters right now. Dan, give me one of your highlights from the night.
Well, I mean, obviously getting Jericho to the dungeon, that was pretty interesting. And obviously, that's obviously a trade pick because Chris Jericho has mentioned, I'm not playing anyone from Roxy. And obviously, you're going to probably make a trade with Roxy. So we're probably looking forward to see that. Obviously, Riley going to the Den, that's pretty great because obviously his experience is going to carry on to the rookies and obviously help out where maybe Grace wasn't too strong. Very number of returns to the usual suspect. To the quirky mercs, sorry. But one interesting question I want to pitch to you guys. So Doug Benson, he was signed on to the usual suspects last season. And now he's drafted this season. Is he still a rookie because he never played last season?
Like we mentioned before, I say yes because he has no track record. He never been on screen. He's never competed. He was never managed, like actually into a thing. So because he has 0 records in the past, 0 records, like no fan league, nothing, and 0 records right now, just because he was supposed to be on but not on itself, I say he's still a rookie personally.
I beg to differ, and I know Christian doesn't like it when you refer to other sports all that much. Yeah, but this is a good civil one. Christian doesn't like comparisons of other sports too much, but I mean, in any other sport, name me a sport where you come in for your rookie season, you are in the big leagues, it's your rookie season, you don't play, but then you come back the next season and it's still called your rookie season. There's only one rookie season, hence the term rookie. So I beg to differ with what you say there, Frenchie.
Well, anyways, we'll discuss it another time because I can go on because there's examples in that show of rookies that got injured before they can play their first match, and when they started the real season after their injury, they were still possible to be nominated as Rookie of the Year because they didn't have any ice time, even though it was their second year technically. So there is precedence in this kind of matter in other sports. This is a unique sport, right? Like Christian said. Yeah. So we'll see. But if we go in traditional terms, he is still a rookie because he has 0 game tape or 0 game experience nor minutes accumulated. All right, so for me, one person I want to really mention, 2 people actually, is Evan Bushcart. No one saw that guy in radar. We actually had him on our show, Schmoedown North. Really liked him, but says he went out late. He made an impression. He really made an impression, and that guy knows his Star Wars, and even Harper paid his respects to him. All right, so he's one to look out for. I think there's something that a lot of people didn't know about him that really caught their attention. And the other one, I am so glad Jacoby Bancroft got the respect he deserved. I have not mistaken, 3rd or 4th round. A lot of people were putting him like 7th round, 6th round, being like, even Christian said he was probably the most underrated rookie. That guy is going to be scary. He is going to be scary this season.
I just got a couple things of note as far as highlights here. One, Scrimshaw going to corruption in round 4. I'm 100% convinced that he is a trading chip in an attempt to get Laura Kelly back. I do not think that I saw that there. Hey, we all got our opinions, baby. Love you, hotel nerd. But yeah, I'm convinced that Scrimshaw was a pick to try to. I think he's a trading chip. I don't think that Shannon is going to let Laura Kelly go that fast. I don't care what any of the pundits have to say about it. I don't think she's going to let her go that fast. I think she made that very clear when she told everyone to keep their meat hooks off her ladies. But with that, I believe we're going to bring Saul back on. Is that correct?
No, not for now. No, it's after.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, dude. See, that's why you can't give me notes in the middle of the show, dude. Because I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm just the host of the damn thing. But no, I had that note there, and then there was one other thing. Yes, Jericho being drafted, but okay. I don't care what anybody says. I absolutely believe that Jericho will be staying with the Dungeon. I think I don't think it's going to take much for Kaiser to win him over, if anything, to be honest. Maybe it's true that Jericho really only would play for Roxy, but if any other manager could get him, it would be Kaiser, and I think Kaiser's gonna actually keep Jericho, and he will play for the Dungeon.
All right. So I think that pretty much sums it up.
Yep.
Unless there's anything else you want to say?
I'm done. What do you think, Dan? You got anything else to add?
No, I think I'm good.
Hell yeah. And
right.
Thank you guys very much for tuning in today. Really appreciate it tuning in this week. Next week, we got Winston Marshall on the show. That's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. The week after, I'll go ahead and tell you now, I'll look up my schedule. The week after Winston, we have Rachel Silvestrini booked, so that will be fun. And we're going to get a co-host in here at some point in the next couple weeks too. Not sure who it'll be, a guest co-host. That'll be fun. Double D, Dan Dolinsky, why don't you tell the folks where they can find you at, sir?
You can find me at Twitter and on Stereo, simply at Dan Dolinsky. Simple as that.
And Frenchie.
You can find me on apparently the scariest show on the planet, Schmoes of the North. You can also find me every like today, every freaking Saturday, 2:30 to 4. I'm always there, man. If not on screen, I'm producing the show. Also, do not miss out on Monday's Schmoes of the North Entertainment YouTube page. We have Snark's Midlife Crisis Episode 2. We are diving deep into anime. Snark has no clue the fuck anime is, really. He knows it's animated. That's all. So he's going to try to understand why are kids loving this shit so much, and probably still won't come to a conclusion, but we'll try to help him. All right, so that's pretty much it for me.
And if y'all would like to, please do. You can follow me on the Twitter at jwade1134. There's the letter JWADE1134. Also follow the Jcast Network on the Twitter, and also at the Jcast Network on Stereo. Going to be utilizing that here very soon. Also at jwade1134 on Stereo too, please. Be sure and sub to this channel and sub to your podcast networks. Give us all the love and support you can. We're a new show, and we're looking to kick some ass this year and make some waves in the Schmoedown as far as the media side and the after show side and all that kind of stuff. So thank you all very much for joining us today. Again, Winston Marshall next week, everybody. So have a great and safe week. You want to hear something funny? The mic wasn't on that whole time.
No way.
Yeah, for real.
Oh, wow.
So smooth.